So I'm Jukka with WSI. I'm the main sponsor of this event, as well as present when I have a breakout session tomorrow. I'm going to do mine very short so that if you just give a flavor, and you can come to my breakout session tomorrow, and I think it's 2 o'clock or something like that, 2:30. And we go from there. Last time when I presented to small audience like this, I got a client who paid for $200,000 in a single project. So I don't know which one it is this time. That's kind of my expectation.
I know who it is.
So you never know. Never know. So I was thinking that in this short presentation, what would be beneficial for you? And because in the digital marketing, you have a lot of things that I can speak about. And now, how many of you have a website? Almost all. So I'm gonna just spend my time on telling you how to improve your website and what are the principles of search engine optimization, very briefly, and then we can go in more details tomorrow. So I give you some flavor on, but the idea is that by following my instructions, number of local businesses rank #1. So we know that these principles work, and you can rank on your home markets high if you follow these instructions and do these changes. So I just show you some examples on what it means, and we go from there. Let me see if this magic wand. I feel like Harry Potter. So this is an example. Reverse mortgage New Mexico is a keyword, and this company, there's advertisements first, okay. Advertisements first here, paid advertisement, and the first website that actually ranked is a client of mine who came to my hands-on training class, fixed his website himself, and did everything as I instructed, and that's how he ranks in New Mexico and Albuquerque now. Here's another example. Building maintenance is the keyword here, and this ZIA building maintenance, when you search for building maintenance Albuquerque, this is what you see. Think about what effect that has for their business. They are the building maintenance company in Albuquerque. So how to do this? And why to do? If you rank #1, you get 42% of the clicks. So almost half of the clicks on that page go to you. If you rank second, you only get 12% of the clicks here. And third one got 8.5%, fourth 6%. So ranking #1 makes huge difference on how many visitors you get to your website. Make sense? There's 2 parts to search engine optimization. First one is knowing what keyword phrases people use when they search for your services, and then putting those keywords on your website. So my example is very sexy. It talks about VoIP phone systems that we go through now. You can replace that with the sexy word that you like to be found, or business word that you want to be found. But we need to know where to put those keyword phrases on the pages. And one of the principles is that if you want to be found on multiple keywords, you need to have a different page for each keyword. One page can only be optimized for one keyword phrase. Okay? So this on-page optimization is called on-page optimization. We have 100% control. Everything happens on our own website, so we can do those changes. And I'm going to go through most of them today quickly so that you get a feeling what it means. The second part of search engine optimization is called off-page optimization. If you have all the right keywords in the right places and your competitor has done the same job, Google still has to rank them. And now the ranking is based on how many links comes to your website from elsewhere in internet. Other websites have links to your website. Your website is listed on an online directory, and there's a link to your website on that online directory. Your website is mentioned in social media, and there's a link to your website. So whoever has better more and better links ranks higher. Better means that you get links from websites that are valuable themselves. They have a lot of links coming to their website. So briefly. So it's just simple, no black magic. Keywords on the website, each keyword phrase its own page, and then create links from elsewhere in the internet to your website. And how do we do this then? So I took as an example this very nice keyword phrase, only because it's the latest client that I've helped rank #1 here in Albuquerque. Again, in this case, the client is one-man installation company, but you don't see that it's a one-man company because even though he's a one-man company, he ranks #1. If somebody searches these phone systems, he's going to come up as a #1. So in internet world, nobody knows how big your business is. A small company doing this right can outrank the bigger ones. So changes that he needed to make on his website. First, header. Each page needs to have one header one. In website development HTML language, there's 6 different levels of headers. You think like a scientific document that has main header and then indented headers. There's 6 levels of headers. Each page on website must have one and only one header, one level header. And we want your keyword to be in the beginning of that header. Simple change that everybody can do. 3 minutes. Okay. Then, next thing that you pay attention is that you have your keyword in the first sentence of the text. Same keyword, PBX phone systems, PBX phone systems. Easy to make, you can make those changes yourself. You add the keyword naturally in somewhere in the text. You need to have about 300 words of text to be considered to be relevant content. Each page needs to have 300 words. And you have your keyword naturally in there, and again you have that keyword in the last sentence. So now we have learned header, first sentence, last sentence, and naturally in between. Let's see what else we can change. Name, pictures on the website. Search engine doesn't see, at least at the moment, what is on the picture. Search engines don't have a clue if this picture on this phone system page is a family picture or picture of telephone poles or a device like that. But search engine sees the name of the picture. And it's an opportunity to tell the search engine that what this page is all about. So we rename all the pictures. And each picture has something called alternate text. Originally this alt text was a yellow pop-up that showed up when you leave mouse on the picture. And it was there for people who don't have good eyesight. They use something called screen reader to go through the website, and the screen reader reads that text. We can tell, using that alt text, we can tell search engine what this page is all about. Okay? Now we come a little bit more technical because we have fancy words here. Title meta tags and description meta tags. This is a search engine result. This originally blue line, now purple, because I clicked it, is called title meta tag, or some call it SEO title. And these black lines, 2 black lines, is called description meta tag or SEO description. They don't show on the page itself, they only show in the search results. But when you build a website, there's a field that you can fill for the title, and there's a field that you can fill for the description. Title needs to have the keyword in the beginning, and then it's followed by your brand. Description needs to have the keyword somewhere in there because Google bolds that keyword when people search it. So this is your best possible sales message for this page, this description. Title is important for SEO, description is important for click-throughs. People click your site. And none of this is difficult, right? If you do all these right, know your keywords, you will start ranking. Let's see if there's anything else. Yep, I repeat that each keyword phrase needs its own page. And as a result of that, you will end up having a lot of pages. Many different items can rank. It's not just a website. You can follow the same principles on your LinkedIn profile and videos, map listings, a lot of different items, same principles, blog posts and so on. There we go. There's a testimonial from a lady who came to my hands-on training class to learn this, and she has so much business that she doesn't know what to do. DJ.
All right, how many of you feel like, keywords, meta tags, all that? Well, he did a lot of the how, or really the what. I'm going to take you up to 10,000 and 30,000 feet and tell you the why, and really how easy it can be, because it's really about content, okay? Thank you, you got it. All right, so let's get started. My name's DJ. I own Exhibit here in town, and I hope you guys enjoy. So, marketing's changing very fast. How many agree with that? Oh my gosh, in 2008 and 9, it used to just be about traditional, a little bit of digital, dabbling in social media, but guess what? If you're not riding this train, it's going to be hard to get found. How many of you are national, not just local? Because that's important. Very good, and probably global, okay? I am national too. So local and national sites and Google searches can be very difficult. There's two types of digital marketing. So there's inbound and outbound. Outbound marketing is when you have a pop-up ad that comes up that you design. It's on a site. And the user person is on that site, but maybe they're not ready to receive that ad. So it's a little more intrusive. Inbound digital marketing is all about the content, and when someone looks for keywords and finds your content, maybe you're solving a pain point. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. All right, so we're going to focus a little bit just on these two things, and also what you call social marketing, social media marketing. Now, you notice how all the circles go around all of these. Well, let's focus. You've got covered pretty much here. I'm going to take you around here. So, how do you get started? Before you even start with any kind of content writing or SEO search engine, don't you have to really know and define your objectives? What is it? Do you want to establish a brand? Do you want to have lead generation only for an event or a cause? Or do you want sales? And until you know that, it's really hard to go to number 2. This is where you just define what channels are best for you. It used to be when you marketed, you could go to one big pond and you say, I want to go where the elephants are drinking. Well, guess what? It's not one big pond anymore, is it? It's multiple ponds. So maybe you have one defined target audience, or you have 5 target audiences like me. And each defined target audience, I have different marketing channels and messages for. So once you define that target audience, don't you want to do some audits and rechecks? You want to do some search and say, I'll give you one of my target audiences. It is economic development and tourism. We work really well. We have some big customers that we handle in the nation. I want to know what their pain points are. It's about economic development. I want to know where they go, and I want to know what words they're looking for what I can solve. So once I define that, I want to do my research, write my content, and figure out if people are landing on the page through metrics. And then you want to optimize your page because, again, it's about the keywords. So really, when you do this, it's about these 4 things. Your audience. B2B marketing is so different from B2C marketing. B2B, if you already have a brand established and you're just trying to grow a little, you're known as a thought leader. You maybe can skip some of your target audience research. But what if people don't know who you are and you don't have a brand? You have to restart and go back and define your target. Because really B2B is about, are you the expert and should I come to you for advice? I'll give you another tip. Women-owned businesses is one of my target audiences. Did you know their pain point is they want to see you as a credible expert because they don't trust easily. They don't want to be hard sold to. They want you to do things and put things out there that they can learn from. So that's one thing. Then you go into your content. This is where you develop that content based on their pain points. Women, let's say you have a woman-owned business that's going to an event for the first time. They want to know, should I go to this event? Is that a good event? They want to go to other thought leaders, maybe, that are talking about that event and learn from them. Then you have your context, okay? If you have content, which is your writing, your context is your keywords and all the things that you're putting together, to the right median channel, guess what that means? It means success, because you have to have all three once you decide. B2C marketing, they want to establish, are you the price, the best price, and what's your differentiation? Let's say you're buying Coke over Pepsi. Do you buy Coke because you think they have more research and they understand more than Pepsi? No. You're buying their brand and their thought leadership, or maybe their differentiation statement. Maybe you just love their commercials. What about Wheaties? If you ate a bowl of Wheaties today, did you wake up and going, oh, they have great research online and great keywords. I'm going to buy from them just because I like their keywords. No, it's going to be, do you associate with them? So then we go on to this part, because this is what I call the cluster. First, you want to listen to the buying personas. We talked about the SEO, and Yuka covered that a lot. Learn what the keywords are. Where do they buy? What do they want? Then you decide on the theme and the topics. What content are you going to write? What are they looking for? Then you create your content. You promote it in the different media and channels, and we'll get into social media. You measure and evaluate. How many of you do newsletters? Have you ever done A/B testing? Right, you can even change a color on a newsletter, or just change the subject matter. Send it out to the same audience in a different week and find out how many click-throughs you get. That's understanding what your audience wants to hear. Then you go in, you repurpose. Because if you can repurpose your information, you can grow more exponentially. How many of you have ever developed topic clusters? Do you know what that means? That's where you come up with 5 to 10 topics. And you say, these are hot points in the, I told you, economic and tourism. So let's say I came up with 5 to 10 topics that's important to them. Then I develop a main theme and 5 subtopics. Then I start researching and I get all my keywords. And then I build content through blog writing, video blogs, anything like that, that they're all associate and correlate with each other, but you can do linking. Have you ever gone to a website where you're reading a great article, then you have a hyperlink, and you say, oh, I wonder what that means. You press it and it takes you to another subtopic in the same? That's what I mean. Now, this is the important part to me. Many, many marketers get stuck with doing so much busy work, but their bosses come to them and say, how much money is it making our company? ROI is the most difficult on digital marketing unless you do it right. So this is how we develop a funnel. This is where you have your website with your content, your blogs, your how-tos, your white papers, all that. So this is where you hope people come. Then they have the prospect conversion. I call this the top of the funnel. This is maybe where you have a checklist or a how-to that people land on a keyword and they say, I like this, I'm going to download it. So then maybe they dig a little deeper and they go into the middle of the funnel. This is where maybe where you have deeper content, a white paper, an educational white paper where they can learn more. So then as you funnel, you're building that thought leadership, right? That expertise. Then you get to here, and this is where they want to consult, maybe they want to buy a product or something because you have established in the funnel credibility. The thing is, you don't want to ask too many questions because they're going to get frustrated with you. So what we do is we have a lead form at the top. It asks 3 or 4 basic information. Then when they get to the middle, more, and then the bottom, more. So now you're probably saying, okay, but what about promoting? I've done all this research. I got all my keywords together. What do I do next? Well, it can get confusing because there's a lot of different marketing mediums. Really, it's about listening, engaging, and sharing. And that's the bottom line. There's a lot of marketing channels out. Stephen Covey says it best. You know, a lot of people show up in social media and they're just out there. Yeah, that's right. You know, they're not really participating. But if you can get in there and figure out what those goals were, is it establish your brand? Is it establish leads? Is it to connect with existing clients? Or maybe it's to get new business outside of your normal geographic area. So those are the things I suggest. I know it's short and sweet, but I really Hope you enjoyed, and here's the last slide. These are all the different social, this is collaboration. This is where you have the Dropbox and Wikipedia. This is where you're information sharing with people. Then you have your networking sites. This is where you're building relationships and promoting a product, maybe for sale. Then you go on to your image sharing sites like your Pinterest, your Instagram, where a lot of people are selling products online. And then you go into your blogging. I'm a big blogger. I write a blog every week with content. That's big if you can establish yourself. Then microblogging, Twitter, you know, the 142 characters is more of a shout out, but it's really for image sharing and for building a link to establish that credibility. And then the last is video sharing. You know, videos, we've been doing videos since 2008. Well, people are realizing now you have to get video content for testimonials and things like that. It's not about the written word as much as it is the keywords within the video. How do you like that for less than 10 minutes?
Hello everybody, my name is Michaela Brown. I'm an entrepreneur. I specialize in taking an idea, whether it's an event or product, and make it go viral within 3 months. For example, I'm a cosmetics owner. I own Blush and Whimsy. Within 3 months, my product went viral without actually having product. I also own Inspire People Media. It's an event production and social media event marketing company. I've got events all over the US, and my events get picked up by Forbes and the New York Times. All through social media, minimal traditional spend. Almost everything I do is through digital. I'm going to give you a couple of examples of how I do it, how I leverage my social media, and then I'm going to, well, I only have 5 minutes, so I'm going to go as fast as possible, give you a whole ton of information, and then you can ask me questions at the end. Because I don't know if you guys have products or companies that you're marketing who are business owners and who are marketers. So here's how you do it. Social media right now, 90%, depending on each platform, are millennials. And the way millennials leverage social media is different than any other demographic. So for Blush and Whimsy, here's what I did. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
All right, when I get excited, I move a lot and talk even faster, so I apologize in advance. Okay, so for Blush and Whimsy, I had this idea that I wanted to create a lipstick that was clear with the flower inside. Have you heard of that? I own them. So here's what I did. I contacted my manufacturers. My manufacturers sent me the product, had my photographer take pictures of them, put them on social media. Now, Facebook is great. The world, oh man, this is why I need slides so I can keep myself organized. The main platforms that I use for a demographic that is between 18 and 25-year-old, that's Facebook and Instagram. For my 25 to 35, I'm using Twitter and Facebook. My 35 to 45 plus are Facebook and Twitter. Instagram is still kind of hip and cool, but if I can get my youngers interested, then my olders will go, oh, hey, look at this, because my youngers are sharing. I didn't have money. I was a startup. I had nothing. So I decided within Facebook to use its internal algorithms when I built my page to clearly define my target demo for my 18 to 24-year-olds, because guess what? When those girls see a picture they like, they tag every single one of their girlfriends. And they share it to every single one of their girlfriends. And their aunts and their mothers and their grandmothers pick it up and share it as well. So in total, I have 52,000 followers on my Facebook page. My product arrives this week. I've got 52,000 Facebook followers. Those are organic, not purchased. It's all because in the back end of Facebook, who lives in Facebook analytics? 2 of you, 3 of you. Okay, talk to me after. You need to live in your analytics. I developed within each of my Facebook pages, I run about 27 different social media accounts because I own events that I also market. So each one has an exact target demo. Within Facebook, I can tell it. I want you to find women between the ages of 18 and 24. I want them to be interested in Project Runway, The Real Housewives. I want them to read magazines. I also want them to purchase online. I can tell Facebook everything about them. Have they gone to school? Are they makeup artists? Do they just love makeup? What brands do they like? So I told Facebook, I want you to find everybody who loves Too Faced and MAC and Sephora and Ulta. And guess what? Facebook did the work for me. I didn't put any money down. So then I decided, all right, so now I need this ad to look organic. Right now, the millennial generation, if you call them millennials or Gen X, Y, whoever the hockey sticks they are, no one knows anymore. They don't want to feel like ads are punching them in the face. They need to feel organic, so here's what I did. I told Facebook, I decided that since I only had a few images of my product, I needed to make it interesting, buzzworthy, shareable. So I created graphics of my product using WordSwag. Who uses WordSwag? $3.99 for
Yes.
it will change your world. Okay, I used WordSwag, started coming up with phrases like, you had me at hello with my lipstick. It sounds silly, but my 18 to 24-year-olds took it viral. I've got 5,000 likes on some random thing that I positioned. Then, once I built up all of my likes within my platform, within Facebook, I was able to separate how I was doing my ads. My 18 to 24-year-olds didn't want to purchase immediately, they didn't want to purchase immediately and wait. They want to wait till I've got products so they can get it, just like Amazon Prime. But my older ladies, my 35 to 44, they'll pay for it and they'll wait for it. So I had to segment, right? So the same post that I put on there, didn't put any money down, I then decided to turn that into an ad. Guess what? You can split it up. You can do it twice. Promote it for $10, decide, all right, I want my 18 to 24-year-olds to share it, like it, comment on it, whatever. But I need the revenue from my 35-year-olds. So I put 2 different demographics within that ad. Now, with Blush and Whimsy, I have a couple of different demographics and ROI targets, I guess you could say. Number 1, I want my 18 to 24-year-olds to share my stuff viral. I want them to love it and want to own it and buy into my message. So that's why all of my images are tied to my brand story. What is the story behind your product? Tell the story of social media. Facebook is where I do that. Instagram, your Instagram pages need to look like websites. Not this funky, crazy hodgepodge of images. Make it look consistent. I don't care if you only have 6 pictures on there, but those 6 pictures need to look like it is one full story, okay? Now, your proper hashtags. Here's what I do. I use an app called Hashtag. I do a search for whatever keyword I want that is trending. So for me, it would be makeup artist, guru, makeup blogger. I want all the influencers around this topic. It will spit out 30 hashtags for you. And guess what? The app is free. Copy paste that sucker into your notes. You go into Instagram. Instagram, you should only post 7 p.m. at night and only 7 p.m. at night. That's it. You heard that? Otherwise, you're wasting your post. Facebook analytics is another thing. Talk to me afterwards. All right, so Instagram. You post your thing at 7 p.m. At the end of your post, you only get a few characters, right? But here's where you can trick the system. Instagram will let you have 30 hashtags per post. Here's how you do it. At the end of your little thing, hit the space bar to create another line, put a dot, add 6 dots. Pull your memo over, your 30 hashtags, put that into the post, send it. Guess what? You're now trending. Okay? And you can do 30 hashtags per comment as well. So you can have a whole round of hashtags within your post, but you don't want it to look like spam. So the 6 dots mean that it looks in a parentheses with dots saying click for more, so they only see your cool phrase or post, and then it drops down into your hashtags. They don't actually see them. It just helps with SEO. Twitter. Twitter is where you position yourself as the industry leader. Thank you. You can be posting anywhere from once an hour for the rest of your life, or once a day, doesn't matter. Twitter, they've got the attention spans of gnats. So that content can be blowing up like nobody's business, no one cares. Real quick, Instagram, it's a website. Keep that stuff looking tight, okay? Do not mess up that gorgeous looking thing. For example, look up my stuff. Michaela Brown CEO is mine. Then Blush Whimsy across every platform is my cosmetics company. Now, here's an app that's going to help you with Twitter to find relevant, interesting content. Not everybody is amazing and has crazy amounts of time to do a blog every week. So instead, here's what I do. I pull RSS feeds. There are 3 different sites that I use. One is called Feedly. Feedly, you can do a feed from any topic you want in the world and pull it and share it across your platforms. Number 2 is a site called BuzzSumo. BuzzSumo will pull trending content from all over the world on any topic you so desire to choose. And both of those will integrate into whatever social media management platform you like. Do not use Hootsuite. Did you hear me? Do not use Hootsuite. Here's why. Every marketer who knows anything or anybody who is a millennial will see Hootsuite in the heading of every post you make, and they'll go, they cheated. They didn't actually take the time, and they will avoid you at the plague. So instead, ignore them. Pay more for something like Sprout Social, or
What was that?
Sprout Social. Or do you want my super, super big time secret not even DJ knows?
Yeah.
There is a free platform. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Free platform called Deliverit, DLVR.IT. You can type in, you can put in up to 2 social media platforms.
What do you do with your 20-something?
Then you pay for $10 and you add more. So Sprout Social was costing me about $200 a month for the same thing Deliverit's doing for free. Just saying. Okay, so Deliverit. You can have 2 platforms per email registration. So I have 6 Deliverit accounts. It is not an app, so you're not able to use it like that. However, Deliverit. You can do 2 different social media platforms, and you can pull our RSS feeds up to 5 different content feeds, and to tell it to hide its internal link builder that says Deliverit, and instead do a custom one, which is your website, your blog, or a bit.ly, so no one knows where the content's from. And if you need help with the settings, come talk to me after. There's another way to internally switch the content so that no one knows it came from Deliverit. I'm posting every hour on the hour across all of my platforms and my clients' social media accounts that I'm running with Deliverit. And it's free.
What kind of content can you put on Deliverit?
Anything you so desire. So I've got the Whiskey Classic, I've got Running of the Chihuahuas, I have AdSum, Advertiser Summit. I produce an event in Aspen for a group of advertisers who are doing about $10 million a month in product sales online. And they're all millionaire men, ladies, between the ages of 28 and 45. If you want to come play with me in Aspen. I've got Blush and Whimsy. I've got Michaela Brown, CEO. I'm pulling from HuffPost, Entrepreneur, Woman, Forbes, Entrepreneur.com, Inc.com, the big names. And you can tell it, avoid these hashtags. So I tell it, avoid anything talking about marijuana and anything talking about politics, because that's not on brand for me. So you can modify it. So those are just a few of my tips and tricks. I have more depending on the platforms. Each one of my products and concepts, I do a full consumer profile. For example, the Running of the Chihuahuas. I'll talk really fast. Running of the Chihuahuas, people who own dogs. What kind of people are there? So this is what I told Facebook, and this is how I built my social media profile. People who own dogs, they shop at Walmart and probably Target, but mostly Walmart. They typically have a 4-door car. So what kind of car should they drive? Should they have an education? Maybe. But if they have a dog, they probably also have children. Do their children go to school here? Yes, no. If they have a degree, did they go to school here? Yes, no. What side of town do they live on? Where are the dog parks? Do they shop at PetSmart, Petsco? Yes. Do they watch TV? Yes. What kind of shows do they watch? Build that consumer profile, and suddenly now you know exactly who that human is, and Facebook will put your ads directly in front of their face in a way that feels like they discovered it themselves, instead of you slamming pet stuff in their face. So do that.
Thank you.
Is it possible to ask a question? Do you have cards, Michaela?
Yes, I do.
What, the Twitter content you said, feed what?
Feedly. Feedly.
Thank you.
What's that?
What do you have for card?
I'm naturally this crazy. I've got cards too, but I'll wait for after.
Okay, hi. This morning I thought I had a whole hour to myself, and then Tiffany came and said, I'm going to join you, and we talked a little bit, and I realized, oh, she was perfect to just follow on with me because she demonstrates what we're going to do. And then we realized we had to share with 3 more people, so we're all kind of rushed. I had hoped we'd have a lot of good question and answer, but as a follow-on, it works really well. I'm an entrepreneur. My name is Linda Ains, And I'm actually an international recruiter, a recruiter in the international development sector. And I'm going to explain to you what the international development sector is. And that's because when I came here because I had good information to share, and it's something that you might be interested in now or in the future. I am hired by companies all over the world and international NGOs to find experts for them for humanitarian projects that are in developing countries everywhere, in Africa, in South Asia, in really hard places, and also South America. And they find me. I'm also on the internet all the time. I work solely through the internet. My office is my laptop. And I also use social media to announce my jobs. I do a lot of email. I have 13,000 consultants all over the world. And the companies come to me because they know I have I'm very well connected and I have access to all these international development consultants who do a variety of different things for projects in developing countries. And they want to find these consultants to help implement their projects. And so a lot of people write to me every day and say, how do I break into this sector? I want to do consulting in various countries, or I'm just starting out, how do I get going faster? Or I'm about to retire, and I'd like to go from what I'm doing now to doing consulting when I want to, where I want to, and so on. So that's how. So I use email a lot. I use LinkedIn, which is kind of it's like Facebook, only it's for professionals, and they have resumes online, and that's really my big tool. And I get good visibility there. I use Twitter. I don't use Facebook. Facebook is just too personal, too.
We need to talk.
We need to talk. I'd love to talk, yeah, because you said so. So, anyways, and I'm learning all the time. So, so this is the topic I want to talk about, and I will only have a few more minutes, but I'm just going to tell you very briefly what it is that international development is, and really this is the definition of it. It's the development of livelihoods, poverty reduction, and greater quality of life for humans in developing countries. And governments and multilateral development banks have millions and hundreds of millions of dollars that they put out to bid, for companies to bid, to develop projects in various countries, not developed countries, but developing countries, and to make these projects happen. And these are the types of projects that often are being done. And they run the whole gamut of health projects, legal law reform projects, energy, agriculture, education, democracy and government. A lot of when a country has been through a war and we need to rebuild, like Iraq, we're right now developing their democracy and government so they can become a good country. So there's no end to what type of work is being done in the international development sector, and the bidders for these projects, or the companies, not the companies, the donor organizations that give money for these projects are, like in the U.S. government, it's the U.S. Agency for International Development, or USAID. In Canada, it's CEDA. In the United Kingdom, it's DFID, their Department for International Development. In Europe, we have the EU, the European Union, EuropeAid, there's a whole host of them. And then there are large banks, like the World Bank. These are not your typical bank that you see in your hometown, but they're multilateral international banks that do good around the world. The Asian Development Bank, the African Development Bank, the Inter-American Bank, and so on. And then you have big organizations like CARE, Save the Children, which you're probably more familiar with, United Nations, that also get individual donations from all of you in smaller amounts, and they gather it up into a lot of humanitarian aid all over the world. So those are the organizations that put out these funds for projects. And then there are companies all over the world who bid for these projects to implement them. Some are private companies that have a humanitarian division, like Marathon Oil, Land O'Lakes, even maybe Pepsi, I don't know. A lot of them do. But then a lot of them just exist to do these projects, and a lot of them are based, my clients are based in Washington, D.C., some are on the California coast. Things like Schools International do a lot of international education projects in Africa. So there's all kinds in Washington, development aid, not development aid, but development alternatives, Counterpart International, Plan International, they have different names like that. So, and then, and so the aid that is given, by the way, our government, the most amount that it gives out of our whole domestic gross product, gross national product, it's less than 1%. It's hundreds and billions of dollars, really. But that amounts to about 0.8 of 1% of our national product. So it gets a lot of mileage, it gets a lot of great publicity. And here are the people that get most of the foreign aid. And I was surprised at that when I looked it up yesterday. Egypt gets more foreign aid than any other country in the world, followed by Afghanistan now, Vietnam, and so on. So I was surprised because I really thought there would be other countries in there that are often publicized as receiving a lot of this humanitarian aid. And I started. I got into this field because I was doing consulting myself. I came from a small business training background, and I was asked at one point, would I go to another country and help train them in marketing and business planning and things like that. I came from academia. I worked for the University of Vermont on a federally funded project for about 19 years. And so I got to go to Afghanistan. I got to go to a lot of neat countries and have some really interesting projects there that I led. Okay. These are Afghan women. Once you get the burqa off of them, they're very neat and they're very beautiful. I got to go to Russia and Ukraine and do a project there. Did we lose? Anyways, oops, it's back. I got to go to Armenia for a year on a marketing assistance project, and to develop products like the wine and the cheeses and whatever that you saw. Okay, Dominican Republic, and different, the kinds of intervention methods that you use are basically just, classroom focus groups, one-on-one, it's a lot of it is education related, or you can just, and basically it's people using the expertise they already have and going to another country and sharing it. By the way, I have a handout over on that table there if you want more, you want to take home information. I had a limited amount of business cards, so, and I just decided to print out some sheets this morning that basically just summarizes what I've just told you. And so you get to go to really neat places, see very interesting things, and I don't want to go through all that. And so you get, and even on any project that you get, you find yourself involved in things you never expected to be involved in. And so people often want to do this kind of work. I'm pretty much done here. Either at the beginning of their career or at the end of the career, because in the middle of your career you're raising so many kids, or you're really set in a career and so on. But a lot of people, when they retire, they like finding something else to do, where they're going to travel more and do more interesting things and do things that make them feel good, and they tend to do this. And so, anyways, my website, you can read my website and get a lot more information. You're welcome to write me anytime, and if you have questions to ask, just let me know you were here. And I'd be glad to take 1 or 2 questions, and then let Tiffany, I need to let Tiffany do her talk.
Yeah, we got about 4 minutes.
Well, why don't I let you do your talk? Tiffany is a very typical of a person who's had her business, and she's taking her business to other countries and doing really good work with wonderful groups of people.
Thank you so much, Linda. Thank you, Michaela, DJ, and you can, did I say that right? Okay, I gotta do this 3-minute disco nap, right? My name is Tiffany Michelle, and I'm a global leadership strategist. And what that means is I help people who are leaders and influencers actually combine their passion with their desire to help and take it on a global market and a global economy. Because, as we know, borders are shifting, borders are dissolving. You can get from here to China in a matter of a couple clicks on your computer, right? Everybody knows that Skype, LinkedIn, Appearing, anything, you can touch anybody in a matter of moments. So, for us, in particular, Western women, it is highly important that we wake up and get going. I was in India last week for the National WEF conference. And it was amazing. There were women from over 60 countries. And I think there might have been more. But the thing that happened was to see more and more of us in varying ages understanding the importance of reaching out across the border and taking our passion and our purpose there, because it's needed. It's very necessary. I'm a firm believer that everything happens in the perfect timing that it happens, so that I get to go last is like really perfect. Because all of the things that you saw are definitely fundamental parts of making a global business person, right? So DJ, just ask if you're national or if you are local. Your answer should be, I am global. You ask me, I'm a citizen of the world. Where do I live? I stay in Florida right now. But I spend time in South Africa. I spend time anywhere the need is. Why? Because that is where I can go. And even if I don't get on a plane physically, I understand that I can take my business and myself there. And what Linda was talking about in reference to me, because my talk is supposed to be about never underestimate the power of a business plan and a great idea. So my perspective on it is a little different than what you would expect. Because one, the traditional business plan still works, but not like it used to. It does not work like it used to. Millennials are in the market and they're making their own rules. Yes. And no matter, some of you ladies look like you're mature like myself. And so some of the things that happen is we get used to doing things that are comfortable for us. And I personally am not a big fan of Twitter. But I know enough to link all my social media so that it shows up on Twitter. Right? Why? Because Twitter's too many voices. But even so, understanding that there are voices that need to hear us. And when we readjust our thinking to understanding, oh, we don't need to do things the same old way. We need to get innovative and start to come out and say, okay, what is my plan? Your plan may be that you have the best cookies in the world. If you believe you have the best cookies in the world, I say go for it. So how do you take your best cookies in the world to the world? You combine your passion, you talk to Michaela, you get in business with DJ, you talk to Yuka, and you figure out how you can help. You figure out how you can help, because most of us, women, my platform is compassionate leadership. I train leaders in how to be compassionate. because compassion is missing and it's very necessary. And the more we introduce compassion into our work, into the people that we deal with, into ourselves, the better outcomes we have, right? So if you have that best cookie in the world and you want to take it to India, maybe you marry it with a cause. Maybe there's a girls' school. Maybe there's something else over there that appeals to you. And you find all the hashtags and you find all the analytics. And if you don't do it, because I don't do it, you find somebody who does or who will help you, right? And then you write your plan down. It doesn't have to be a 75-page business plan that tells you in 5 years I'm going to be on the shelves at Walmart. It can be something as simple as I want to, and I want to help, and I want to help now. Does that sound like a plan that most of us can get with?
Yeah.
Right?
Go, go.
I had 3 minutes. 3 minutes I had to make this happen. So, again, thank everybody for, I literally had 3 minutes. And I want to value the time, and I know we'll be transitioning. I want to leave some space for everybody to ask at least one question to each person, because I know there were some questions in this room. But do not hesitate to speak to me, to speak to anyone. And while you're here at this conference, don't let it just be about passing out your card. That's part of your business plan. Make connections, not just the business plan thing. Networking isn't just about, hi, my name is Sue, here's my card, I hope you call me. It's, hey, I like you, I like your vibe. What can we do together? How can we grow together? What can we collaborate on? What do I have that you need? What do you have that I need? And how can we make it grow? So that can be your business plan for the future. And do not be afraid to call Linda and say, Linda, I have a passion. I want to help. I don't know how I can help. I go to South Africa all the time, and my trip started out social change. I go over there and work for free. And I teach women in villages, and I teach youth. Why? Because it's what I love. But you know what? I can get paid for it too. So learn that, know that, own it. It's time. Thank you all so very much.
One thing I would add is you have my website there, you can read and learn a lot. I also have a blog in which I give a lot of helpful information about how to break in and stuff. And when people write me and they send me their CV and they don't have a whole lot of experience, I have an email already that gives you all kinds of advice and links to go to learn more about how to get into the international development sector and learn how to consult. And basically you start by volunteering with your church, with the Peace Corps, with all kinds of organizations, and that's getting into international development when you go to other countries. And that's what this letter tells you about ways to do, to connect. You've all heard about Doctors Without Borders?
Yes.
Well, do you know that there are teachers without borders, MBAs without borders, lawyers without borders, engineers without borders? Entrepreneurs, is there?
I don't know, I'm just asking.
Hashtag, yeah, SMEs is one big area that you train, you go to other countries and you train people how to start and develop their own business. That's what I was going on, that was my expertise. How do you do a business plan? How do you market all of those little products you're growing all around your house and on? And I've gone to all kinds of countries, even the Caribbean, so, which was fun.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I was so close. I was so used to sitting down. I forgot I'm facilitating too.
Oh, yeah.
So, I'm like the producer and the director. Are there any questions? Because I wanna honor that any questions that anybody has, but also thank these lovely ladies and gentlemen for actually taking the time to prepare. And I know that we've come to a lot of stuff, but I really hope, and I do believe